All right guys, this is gonna be one of the last videos for the new year. So you know we're coming into the week, that nice holiday off, and now we have a couple other days that we're gonna have off here for the new year. So what I like to do is keep my momentum up, because in the body shop, we get paid a week behind. So that means that this is actually the first paycheck of the new year. So in order to keep the year going good, you wanna start off good. It's just like one of the stories I heard years back of a guy using an old well, and it takes a lot to get that thing going, but once it gets going, you just have to give it a couple pumps and then the water is gonna flow out. So keep your momentum up, start your year off fresh, start your year off right, and that's what we're gonna do here. All right, so you wanna take advantage of whatever parts you have. If you do not have the vehicle ready yet, still get the parts ready for the next load in the booth. So these are the parts ready from a job that I had to prime last night, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get that car in here without having that primer dry thoroughly overnight. So I prepped out the parts. That way, when I come in this morning, I can crank out that body and get it in here. All right, so this here is the body of the vehicle, and I had to prime this one late last night, and I wanted to let it sit overnight. I like to let my primer set up good, but being I had time, I prepped out the parts, got them in the booth, and now I was able to prep this out early this morning to get this part of the vehicle in the booth. All right, so I hope you guys have learned on this channel a system on how to prep cars out, and that way you guys are able to maximize your day. So on this channel, it's not just about learning how to do body work and paint work, it's also learning how to handle yourself. That way you're gonna be able to max out. So no matter what you're doing in any career, you can always do better in it. And if you're not able to work on your career, you can always work on your family, your health, or some other aspect of life. So I like to keep a positive mindset, and if I'm not able to do one thing, I'll jump over to that and get that tidied back up, because you guys know you can't do everything all at one time to the max. You're always gonna slack on one thing, but you're able to do something else a little bit higher. So when you're in the body shop, if you can't get a car prepped out, try to think of the next thing that may help you. That way, when the parts or the job does come over, you are that much ahead and able to get that car in the booth and keep ahead of these guys. You guys know I'm running with 7 body men, so I have to do as best I can to keep ahead of them, see what's coming over, check out the shop, and able to stay up to these guys' level, because we have a lot of top level guys and these guys are moving cars. So 1 guy against 7 is a lot. So you got to stay on your toes, and you got to do things like this in order to keep the jobs moving through the shop. All right, so also we're going to be squeezing in with that load this here single bumper. Try to get your bumpers in with bigger jobs, that way you do not have to use a full bake cycle for just a couple items. You want to use that booth wisely, because you guys know it costs a lot of money to heat that thing up, especially when you have a heated spray booth. So it's costing you money every time you cook these things. So get as much in there. All right, so we're just scuffing this one down, getting it ready for the booth. And I just wanted to talk to you guys a minute about what I was telling you earlier in the video about trying to start out your year fresh. So there was times in my life that I did screw up, make mistakes. That's why I am able to know from that and grow from that. So you guys want to see what you can do to better yourself, and the best way to do that is start off the year freshly with a nice mindset. Get a goal that you want to have, whether it's getting a better career, maybe having a better family life, making more money, and maybe there's something that you want to buy or purchase at the end of the year. And we did have a very successful year here at the shop. Everybody did very well, and we're going to be trying to do even better. So you always want to try to step it up, max it out. They say raise your standard. You don't want to stay to one thing that's comfortable. You want to try to do something better. To me, this year I'm going to start off trying to eat a little better. You guys seen in the video I was eating that big pizza and I got it cut back. So that's going to be my goal, is fitting back into my life the fitness and working out. That way I can do what I need to do for my health as well as my career. So don't just limit it to one thing. You want to try to help everything out and make everything better. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this one cleaned up. I like to clean the blend panels first. That way your rag is clean and you don't pull any of the dirt onto your blend panels from the sanding dust. So clean your blends first and then move into your parts that are going to be fully painted. That way you do not track any of the sanding debris on your blend panel. That's just one tip that I give you guys that I do on every job. Then we'll go ahead and clean our new parts. And when you're looking at your parts and you're cleaning them, make sure that's a good time to evaluate them. Make sure you didn't miss something, maybe a small dent, a chip, and something that may come back and bite you later. So when I'm doing this, I'm looking over these jobs and making sure there's nothing I missed, that we didn't miss seam sealer. You want to make sure that you don't paint these and then they find out later that this job needed to be seam sealed, and now you're going to have to do something to fix that. So all right, so we've got everything clean now, and you guys see I follow the same routine every time I get in the booth. If you guys follow the channel, you want to get a system down. That way when something goes wrong, you know right what to go to fix that problem. If you do things differently, I've told you this before, you're not going to really know what has caused the issue because you have changed up your routine all the time. So I stick to one way of doing things. If I find a better way, I may change it, but after 28 years of painting, I pretty much eliminated a lot of the problems, and I'm able to pinpoint a problem because I stick to a consistent routine on prepping out the car. So all right, so we've got all the parts and the vehicle out of the booth. I put that over into my area because this is early in the day and I like to nib everything before it goes back to assembly. That way everything is done. So get ahead of each job that you have to do. If you have to let it sit over here, that way it hardens up and you can nib it, it's better than having it go to the reassemble and then having to have it come back and clog you up for the next job. So I like to keep everything just one time in, one time out. So that'll sit there. We'll nib that once it hardens up, and then we'll move on to putting that back to the body man and letting them get it going. So in the meantime, we've got some more jobs coming over. We had some parts come over and we got some new stuff to prep out here, and we're gonna get that booth loaded once again. All right, so we've got everything finished up for the day. You guys see we got 2 booth loads, and one of the biggest things you're gonna have to have during this time of the year is patience. But you wanna keep the momentum up, that way you're able to just keep moving forward. We got the X5 now over here in the shop. We did the buffing on the Tesla. We did a couple things in primer. Do as much as you can in the shop, and you guys see that we did that today. Even though we started off this morning with barely anything to do, if you have patience, stuff will start to come over and you'll be able to still get your day planned out and get a nice successful day. So I hope you guys got something out of this one. Start the year off now, that way you're going to be hitting your goals. And I like to set goals now, that way I can go ahead and achieve them, because if you don't have a goal, then you're not going to be able to achieve it. So we'll see you guys on the next one.